Hello, family. Welcome to the show. This is the Talk to Me podcast with your only host, Tumelo Marule, an aspiring digital strategist who runs her own online business while working the 9 to 5. This podcast is around everything uncomfortable and helping you embrace your online journey together with myself to build a business you do not need an escape from. Ultimately, it is everything perfectly imperfect. Follow me on all socials and let's get right into it. On today's episode, we'll be cooking up this topic. Welcome, family, to our first episode of the Talk to Me podcast. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your loyalty. I thank you for taking this opportunity to just tune into this first episode, and I'm ecstatic about it. It's the first of many, definitely. And on today's episode, we'll be exploring my journey of diving head in as an aspiring digital strategist and brand marketing consultant, and also the misconceptions of starting an online business. So, this specific topic, I wanted to actually delve into it because I think it's the best introduction to give people about the online game. Additionally, to just give people an insider about how I started and what it is that I had to go through for people to, know me as this type of person. So, obviously, a couple of years ago, someone had asked me, that, hey, Tumelo, you would have started an online business. Hey, you going to, have a podcast. You're also going to have an upcoming blog. I don't think I would have believed it, to be quite honest. I don't think I would have actually believed any of it. But over time, my motto has always been live a life of no regrets. It's a cliche. We all know it. But it holds a lot of truth. Both you and I definitely want to live a life to our fullest potential, where we can definitely look back and see what we have achieved. But not many of us have that opportunity. And it's not that we don't have that opportunity because we, die before we actually achieve it. It's just that we squander it through certain things. We let fear, we let, time, we take advantage of certain things that we don't even realize that years can go by without us achieving our own dreams and goals. I mean, it is a bit ridiculous when you think about it and sit down that you, your only self, are the person that is stopping you from achieving the very goals and dreams that you want for your life. But it is a reality. I found myself in that space too. I still find myself in that space too. I'm not saying that I just went out of it, but I think the one thing is I don't want to live a life like that where tomorrow I definitely know I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. And I definitely know also on the other hand that you also wouldn't want to be living a life like that. So because of that relentless drive and ambition I had and still have, I just chose to start. And that's how the journey of my online businesses and everything that I had from then started. It became a ripple effect. So if you don't know, I own an eyelash extension business, and this business exists online for about 7 months now, but the blueprint and model of the business had been existing for about 5 years now. You ask me 5 years? Yes. That fear? Yes. That's what held me back. But there were many other things that also held me back in terms of trying to get it off the ground and up and running. So, the reason why I want to actually go into deeper detail about my life story is that I really want to be honest. I want to be vulnerable and I want to be intentional. I think a lot of times we don't believe, some of people's stories or their success. But until you go back and realize where these people come from, you start realizing that they're as normal as you. So, definitely 110%, this is no clickbait, this is no fraudulent activity, but it's literally just keeping it real. So, I know that my life story will, in time, help someone out there, just as long as it can help one person, then I'm sufficient enough. I know I did my part for that specific individual or a multitude of people to be able to just reach their full potential and just start. Just starting. I think that's the biggest thing that holds us back from everything, is the fact that we don't give ourselves that opportunity. We hold it back, and like I had said, a lot of times we listen and read about people who started their businesses, and we sometimes convince ourselves that they're not normal. These people don't face our daily struggles, to make ends meet. These people were never once dead broke. They didn't have money, they never went through the process of not having money for something so simple and staple that we may even take to advantage even now, such as bread and milk. But they were once there. I've read quite a lot of success stories of people who are in the online business, and you start to realize that they were actually really, normal people who grew up even in tougher situations than the ones that you know of. So, to just start it off, I grew up in a middle class family, where our necessary needs were provided. My parents did the best that they could for me to be where I am today. And the one thing I can say is, when I was in high school, I didn't have much confidence, especially in my outward appearance. I didn't. And that's a story for another day. But I really found refuge in my work. What I produced at school, I was an A student. And what I did from there on, I really took pride in that part of me. So it was only through God's grace that I was able to even be that good in whatever I touched. But that's not to say that when I was going through that, I didn't have fear. I did. I had a lot of fear. And it even grew 10 times worse when I started my business. So I therefore have to force myself to be courageous through that time. And then when 2015 started, which was my first year enrolling in varsity to complete my BSc honors in construction management, the biggest challenge and fear came: finances. If you can ask any person that went through varsity what their biggest fear was that letter from the varsity, or the university to tell you that this is how much you owe. So yeah, adulting, paying bills was the hardest portion of it, because my mom needed a break from work, and it was just the time when I was starting to, about to just start and complete my studies. So when she needed to take that break, those finances were running out. So I had to make a plan, and that's when you started becoming creative in terms of what is it that you can do to bring money. And yeah, as a student, you become very much creative. But for me, I took another curve, That's where I encountered digital marketing for what it is. because my outlook was very much different. That time was the time when adulthood was kicking in so hard that you saw unemployment for what it was, and my biggest question that kept coming back and forth was that what is the one thing that's going to stay for the next 20 years and is a trend? And it dawned on me that anything that involved technology will stay. There is nothing that will eradicate it unless we actually went to a different revolution. But the fourth industrial revolution was something that was going to stay for the longest time. So yes, I took a lot of insight into digital marketing at first, and on my socials, mainly through Instagram, that's when I started following relevant people. People such as your Ty Lopez, Alex Becker, your Gary V, Tatiana James, and many more. These people were my experts. These people were my lecturers. These people were my professors, and they knew a lot about this. At that time, understand that I was just feeding information into me. YouTube became my friend because I believed at that time that this platform is going to be so informative to build my career. And I was just feeding information, reading, watching videos, understanding what this world was, because I really did not have the finances to be buying any online course that they were planning on even providing. Yes, I got the email newsletters, subscribed to everything that they had that was for free, from the free online trainings, but I wasn't going to spend money on a course. Yes, on the sideline, to just pay my bills, I started doing promotional jobs, elevating from that to just try and make ends meet. I ended up getting a bursary, and I was, through God's grace again, I was very much thankful for it. I almost flunked and didn't graduate, but through God's grace, I made it. So it was a ride. It came with its twists and turns, and I almost felt like I couldn't even, make it, but I did. And fear grew, died out. I think with every small accomplishment, it died out, and then with the new challenge that came, it grew from there. But from these specific people that I had mentioned, I learned a lot of things. These people knew so much about Amazon FBA, SMMAs, virtual assistants, affiliate marketing, drop shipping. That was a lot. The information was so broad that at some point I felt overwhelmed. I had to sit down and really ask myself, okay, Tumelo, what is it that you want? You can't do all of these things. There's too much to do. I know a lot about what is required in each and every one of them, and that's the beauty about online business, is that everything interlinks. There is not one thing that you will do that is not interlinking. So that's when I decided to start my eyelash extension business. So in 2017, my eyelash extension business came into fruition. Well, on paper, of course. That's where I sat down and decided, okay, I'm gonna start with eyelashes. You're probably also thinking, why eyelashes? They seasonal, they target based. But that's exactly why I wanted to do it. It might have been the most stupidest idea, but no idea is stupid. As long as you believe in a product, you see the gap, and you are able to sell a message about that product, best believe your product will be successful. be it a product or a service. So that's the one thing that I saw. I saw a big gap in this niche, and I was like, I'm going for it. So I spent 2 years figuring everything out about how to launch this business on paper. And then, so it was from 2015, 2017 to 2019. So now the 4 years came, in full sight, from my research to my business model, my blueprint. Everything came to a full 4 years. And that's where you start to see that it took me 4 years to start a business on paper, where there were certain things that I really could have handled differently. I could have started even earlier than that, but because of fear and finances, those were the two biggest things that I felt did hold me back. And I think that's a lot of things in a lot of moments and times in our lives. Those are the two things that hold not just myself, but probably you back. So the fear of not failing before I even started, the fear to not disappoint myself, the fear of not getting it wrong. I didn't see that as something that was normal. I was like, it can't be. I can't have this thing. And I kept fighting it, not realizing that it's okay to fear, this big challenge. The abnormality is now when it cripples you from moving forward, from persevering, from pursuing this dream and goal that you want. So I had to start, within those 4 years, I started this new trend. It was a trend then, but it became very revolutionary for me. I started journaling, meditating. I started to come in touch with the law of attraction and manifestation. And I journaled everything about my business, from the name to the color scheme of my website. I left no stone untouched with the specific business that I did. And in 2019, when I fully launched it, looking back, I can say I definitely went through it all. The amount of exhaustion I was carrying, the sleepless nights, speaking to Chinese vendors at 3 o'clock every morning for 2 months straight, trying to beat time zones, negotiating prices, language barriers. That was a bit of a tough situation, and I say a bit as an understatement, but it was, it was a lot. And at that time, I really didn't have a solid, online business advisor or mentor. These people were virtual. Yes, you could DM, your mentor, but the likelihood of expecting a response wasn't there. So I don't have someone on speed dial that I could be like, hey, this is what I'm going through. How can you help? But the one thing I did have was a support from my closest friends, and family, who didn't necessarily understand what it is that I was doing, but still supported me, along the way. So yes, because I journaled everything, I ended up having a full blueprint on how to start and run an online business. This became my guideline. It's not to say that once you follow this blueprint, boom, you'll have a successful business. There's still a lot of back end work that still needs to be done once the business is still launched. So that's when I started this online business. But I have to say, there is more to this online business than one meets the eye. Whether you're going into digital marketing or you're interested in it, for example, in digital marketing, e-commerce, selling a product or a service, being an online coach, running your own agency or consultancy firm, whatever it is, there is more to this than just starting. The same model and principle that you have when starting a physical business is likely the same for an online business. Yes, it is no longer traditional, but the principle is still the same. So, especially when you're running this alone. So, things such as your mental, spiritual health, all of these things are at stake, outside of you running your business, because they can take such a toll on you that you don't even realize that those could be the factors that stop you from starting, which was truthful in my case, because if it took me 4 years to start something, when I started, I didn't journal from the get-go. I just scribbled my way, only at the end of my second year did I realize, shucks, baby girl, you need to get your ducks in a row, because you've been going in circles with this. What do you actually want to do? And then I narrowed down. Then I found out this is what I actually like. And once I realized what I liked and where I was passionate about and where I saw fit for me, that's where I was like, okay, maybe, being a digital social media marketing consultant is the best thing for you, because you can be able to coach people, you can be able to advise people. And I'm a face-to-face person. I love talking. So being able to analyze the business, see where their loopholes are, understand why that's the case, and then be able to provide a full report and analysis for it was crucial for me. So that helped. The good news is that with whatever avenue you want to go into, they will integrate. So even if I've branched into a different spectrum, I'm also running an online business of my own. So I definitely want to encourage you to sit down, and it doesn't mean you have to know everything once you would start, but to sit down and understand who you are, what you like, and then we can be able to take it from there. So that's why I created this platform, as a platform that is aimed at assisting you to navigate through this journey. You are going to face these hardships and you are going to face challenges, but you don't have to face many of them that I had faced. We can lessen that load to you. But don't get it twisted. It's not meant to take away your problems. It's just meant to lessen them. We want to pivot you in the direction that you should go into. So in the following episodes that you'll be taking on in this journey, we will dig deeper into what makes an online business in whatever spectrum you want to, go into. We will be embodying and understanding the level and depth of the law of attraction and manifestation. We need to fix ourselves mentally before we can even tap into something that we don't even know. We need to prepare our mind, and also how to stay relevant in this competitive market. It is a competitive market, but it's not a saturated market. So overall, you'll understand that this is a no BS approach. We will be taking no shortcuts, but we'll be doing everything by the book. So with that being said about my life story, now I want to delve into a couple of myths and misconceptions people have about the online business. And a lot of these myths are myths that I've also encountered with many people who I've come across and who've come across me, asking me various questions about, you've started this and I think you did a great job, but this is where my perception lies. And those are the areas where I actually want to now, be able to just give you a little bit of insight and a little bit of tea into this game, how to make your business successful. So the first myth is you can start an online business for free. Darling, this one takes the cup. I have no idea. I don't even know of any business that was started for free with no investment, initial capital, financial input. I mean, not even a spaza shop can operate without a financial boost. So the mere concept that an online business can be started with no pennies is literally a marketing ploy that's prompted you to spend money. So you need to understand that when you are going into this, you need to spend a certain portion of money and a feasible budget for it, for marketing, web hosting, sourcing inventory, doing all the roundabouts, so that you don't go into this blindfolded. And understand that some avenues will be cheaper than others. For example, an e-commerce store where you provide a specific product that people buy, or drop shipping. Those two business models have different price ranges as compared to an online coach, as compared to a social media marketing agency, or someone who's selling on Facebook or eBay. Those are different business models that require different financial inputs, but still relatively require the same amount of input to a certain extent. But it's understanding also where it is you fall into. Additionally, with that being said, I think we're going into the second myth, that you can only start an online business with a crazy startup capital. Now, we've tackled the fact that you can't start a business for free. But on the opposite spectrum, you don't need to spend thousands of rands to get your online business off the ground. You really don't need that much. It's not to say that you don't need money. You do. As I said, you need a specific portion of it that's going to go into various aspects. But you don't need from the get-go as a startup to be hiring a web developer, a marketing agent, an agency to run your Facebook ads, and any ads that you might actually need to be running at that time. But you do need that budget. There are, key tip, various platforms that can help you get started, and at a very cheaper cost, and I'll be sharing those secrets with you, and I'll also be giving you a freebie at the end of this podcast. So the third myth that we'll be going into is one which also baffles me, is the myth that social media requires costless marketing. This is a myth and a misconception that I really do not want you to be fooled for. Digital marketing, aka social media marketing, is your primary marketing strategy to advertising your online business, whatever or whichever spectrum you fall in. And firstly, as a startup, you need to understand that no one knows you. No one knows who you are on the internet. So you need to spread the word. So advertising in the modern way of things, such as social media platforms, offering Facebook ads, Google ads, Twitter ads, retargeting, is the best way for people to know you. I mean, gone are those days where you really needed to, do a radio ad or a billboard, a magazine ad. Gone are those days. We no longer the generation that uses paper. Everything is on digital. Everything is where we want to see on our phones, on our laptops, our notebooks. That's where everything is. That's where we store our information. So you want to keep people interested in your business. How do you do it? You advertise online. But you can't go into it thinking that you're not going to spend money. You are going to spend money, because you need to research your Facebook ad campaigns. You need to research your target audience. You need to be able to provide the specific advertisement to the right people who are deemed fit for your specific product or service that you cater for. So that brings us to our fourth myth, which is that you can automate everything when selling online and just relax. You cannot automate everything completely online. Your business requires your input. It really does. You can't even automate customer support. Yes, you can get Autobots for that, but you really can't. You can't automate specials. Those are things that require you to, get your hands dirty. You may get a third party to handle those services for you, but again, as a startup, that load is one you really don't want to carry, and it does cost a lot more. So you need to understand that even if your business is online, you want convenience, you pay for convenience. But the process of running your business is as traditional as a normal physical business. You need to get your hands dirty, because imagine if you had any hiccups or mishaps in the future through customer support or specials. Those are things that do not go away. A physical review when you walk into a specific restaurant can come and go. An online review is one thing that stays there forever. That person can write an ad on Facebook, can either write an ad on a review on Google, can write a review, on your own website, and even other third-party review service holders. And that could just tarnish your business, all because you just didn't want to get involved. So I would definitely advise that if you are starting an online business, understand from the get-go that customer support is your baby. Treat it like your baby, handle it like your baby. And the last misconception I really want to talk about is my second favorite misconception, that once you have everything running, people will start buying into your product or service. And that's the biggest buffoonery that you could ever do to yourself. Regardless of whether people know you, know your product, or anything, if your story, your message, your brand, and what it stands for doesn't sell a purpose to your specific consumer, forget it. Unfortunately, that is the biggest truth that I can tell you. Your story sells it all. I mean, think about it. The very phone you have, the car you drive, the specific coffee brand you drink, the labels you wear, whether you like it or not, those companies and corporates sold you a story. They made you to believe either into an environmentally free message, they made you believe into a user-friendly message. They had a specific story that they sold you. So your story is the one key component that sets you apart from everyone else. Without your story, there's nothing that can connect you to the people. We live in an age where, everyone wants to be economically free. Everyone wants to reach a point where, they can automate everything. So we are at the tipping point of whether, as someone, Do you evolve or do you revolve? There's a silver lining there, but only a few people see it. But it's crucial to find where you are. And I guess that's why I'm here. That's why I am here to assist you in this journey. Because half the time you are doing everything right, but there's a half component of something that's missing. I am here as I don't like the word coach. I don't like the word guru either. But I'm here as a strategist. A strategist is someone who analyzes things from an aerial point of view, looks at every aspect, and identifies where the loopholes are and how to improve those loopholes effectively and efficiently. So I'm here to be able to assist you and navigate you through this specific journey. I've got advisors from your notable and well-renowned digital marketers, affiliate marketers, e-com boffins, people who've been in the specific game. But at the end of the day, it's time to take that leap. It's time to ask yourself, is this worth enough? Is it for me? Do I want it as badly as I want to breathe? And that was a quote that I read the other day, and I just found it superb. So if you're coming along with me on this journey, then I say buckle up, enjoy it, and learn to just start. Wow, family, thank you for tuning in thus far in our podcast. But we have come to the end of our episode. For many more secrets on how to succeed on this online journey and getting your feet off the ground in this digital world, remember, download my free ebook, Starting an Online Business. You'll find this book on any of my socials. Tune in anytime and anywhere for future episodes. And from me to you, stay bright and smart. Don't be hard on yourself. We are all in this together.